Have you ever stopped to think about the small choices you make every day? We often look for big moments to change our lives. We wait for a sign, a grand opportunity. But what if the most powerful force for change is not found in the thunder, but in the whisper? What if the path to an extraordinary life is paved not with giant leaps but with tiny, almost invisible steps? The truth is, our destiny is not shaped by a few major decisions. It is forged in the quiet crossroads we face 1,000 times a day, the choice to hit the snooze button or rise, the choice to eat the donut or the apple, the choice to complain or to be grateful. These moments seem small, they feel insignificant, but they are everything. Let me tell you about a man named Arthur. He was not a hero, he was not a failure. One Tuesday morning, something shifted. It was not a dramatic event. There was no lightning strike. There was no life-altering revelation. Arthur woke up a little more tired than usual. He looked at his reflection and saw dull eyes. He saw the slump in his shoulders. For the first time, he didn't just feel stuck, he saw it. He decided to do something. Not big, not heroic. Something laughably small, 1 page before bed. Not a chapter, 1 single page. That night, instead of turning on the TV, he picked up a dusty book from his shelf. A book about ancient history. He read 1 page, less than 5 minutes. It felt strange, not life-changing, but different. Weeks turned into months. The world outside Arthur's window changed with the seasons. But the changes inside him were far quieter. They were happening below the surface, like a river carving a canyon. 1 page a night, then 5 pages, then 10. He had finished the history book. He started another. He wasn't just reading, he was learning. He found himself thinking about the rise and fall of empires on his commute. His mind, once full of TV reruns, now held new ideas. His physical habits were changing. 3 flights of stairs used to leave him breathless. Now they felt easy. He took them 2 at a time. More energy in the afternoons. That energy led to a small change. One Saturday he chose a short walk instead of the couch. 20-minute stroll in the park. He felt alive. The progress was almost imperceptible day to day. About 1.5 years after he read that first page, Arthur experienced a turning point. It wasn't a single event, it was a series of small realizations that hit him all at once. He was at his annual checkup with his doctor. As the doctor reviewed his chart, he looked up with a surprised smile. "Arthur, whatever you've been doing, keep doing it. Your blood pressure is down, you've lost 15 pounds, your cholesterol levels are perfect." Arthur was stunned. He hadn't been on a diet. He hadn't been following a strict workout plan. He had just been making small, consistent choices. He had not seen the change in the mirror each day. That same week, his boss called him into her office. She told him she was impressed with his recent contributions in meetings. He had been sharing interesting ideas, drawing connections no one else saw. She offered him a chance to lead a small project. Something that would require creativity and research. The very skills he'd been quietly honing through his nightly reading. For years, he had felt invisible at work. Now, he was being seen, he was being valued. The quiet work he had done in the solitude of his apartment was now echoing in the most public part of his life. The most profound change, however, was in how he felt. The old feeling of being stuck, of being a passenger in his own life, was gone. He woke up in the mornings not with a groan, but with a sense of quiet anticipation. He was no longer just Arthur, the man who worked a boring job. He was no longer just the man who lived in a small apartment. He was the man who was learning about Roman history. He was the man who enjoyed walking in the park. He was the man who was leading a new project at work. He had, step by tiny step, rebuilt his identity. He felt a sense of calm confidence, a quiet strength. He looked around his apartment one evening. The television was off. A half-read book lay on the table. His running shoes were by the door, ready for his morning walk. He realized his environment had changed because he had changed. His world was no longer a cage of old habits. It was a reflection of his new ones. The emotional weight that had held him down for so long had lifted, so gradually that he hadn't noticed its departure. He felt a deep sense of peace and a powerful surge of gratitude. Arthur sat with these thoughts, trying to understand the mechanics of his transformation. How could such small, seemingly insignificant actions lead to such profound results? It felt like magic, some hidden force had been working in his favor. He thought about the 15 pounds he had lost. Taking the stairs, walking in the park, drinking more water. It didn't happen overnight, it was the result of hundreds of small choices. He thought about the project at work. It wasn't one brilliant idea hundreds of pages read expanding his knowledge and confidence. Each action was small, The cumulative result was massive. A friend mentioned a book. "You've been living out the ideas in this book," his friend said. The book, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Arthur bought it and began to read. As he turned the pages, it described the last 2 years of his life. Great success is not big, revolutionary acts. It's small, smart choices repeated over time. It named the magic. It was a principle, a law as real as gravity. Tiny positive habits compounded equal sign explosion of success.